rooted in the natural world and their immediate environment. Like many ancient peoples, the Dardanians saw the divine in the forces of nature. Their religion was polytheistic, with a pantheon of gods and goddesses representing natural phenomena such as the sun, moon, rivers, mountains, and fertility. This reverence for nature reflects their agrarian lifestyle, as the majority of the Dardanian population relied on agriculture and livestock for survival. Central to their belief system was the concept of divine reciprocity, where offerings and rituals were performed to gain favor from the gods. These offerings often included food, drink, and animal sacrifices. Archaeological evidence from ancient Dardanian sites reveals altars and shrines where these rituals took place, suggesting a strong communal aspect to their spiritual life. Religious ceremonies were likely attended by large gatherings of people, underscoring the importance of spirituality in uniting the community. Priests and priestesses played an important role in mediating between the mortal and divine realms. They were responsible for leading ceremonies, interpreting omens, and maintaining sacred spaces. The Dardanians believed that these spiritual leaders had a unique connection to the gods, and their guidance was sought on important matters such as agriculture, warfare, and governance. The priesthood was likely hereditary, passing from one generation to the next within certain families. The Dardanians also believed in an afterlife, though their specific views on what lay beyond death remain unclear. Burial customs, however, offer clues to their perceptions of life after death. Excavations have revealed graves containing items such as weapons, jewelry, and tools, indicating a belief that these objects would be useful in the afterlife. The inclusion of such items suggests that the Dardanians viewed death not as an end, but as a transition to another realm. Sacred spaces were integral to Dardanian religious practices, serving as the physical locations where humans could commune with the divine. These spaces were often chosen for their natural beauty and spiritual significance. Mountains, rivers, and groves were commonly regarded as sacred, and many rituals were conducted in these settings. Specific sites were revered as the dwelling places of gods or spirits, and they became focal points for communal worship. Among the most significant religious structures were stone altars and open-air sanctuaries. Unlike the grand temples of their Greek and Roman contemporaries, Dardanian religious structures were modest and closely tied to the natural landscape. These simple yet sacred spaces reflected the Dardanians' connection to the earth and their emphasis on communal worship over individual piety. Some of these altars were adorned with carvings and inscriptions, offering insights into the deities worshipped and the rituals performed. One notable feature of Dardanian sacred spaces was their association with fertility rites. These ceremonies were held to ensure agricultural abundance and the prosperity of the community. Fertility deities were especially prominent in Dardanian religion, reflecting the importance of agriculture in their society. The rituals often involved offerings of grain, wine, and livestock, as well as dances and songs performed by participants. The sanctity of these spaces was protected by strict rules, and only those deemed pure were allowed to enter certain areas. Violating these rules was considered a grave offense, punishable by exile or death. This demonstrates the deep respect and fear the Dardanians had for the divine, as well as the central role religion played in maintaining social order. Sacred spaces were not just places of worship, they were symbols of the community's unity and connection to the divine. The Dardanians worshipped a diverse pantheon of gods and goddesses, each representing different aspects of life and nature. Chief among their deities was the sun god, who was believed to bring light, warmth, and life to the world. The sun god was often depicted as a powerful, radiant figure, and rituals dedicated to him were held at sunrise to welcome his arrival each day. Sun worship was a common feature of many ancient Balkan cultures, underscoring its importance in the region. Another prominent deity was the earth goddess, associated with fertility, agriculture, and the nurturing of life. She was revered as the mother of all living things and was a central figure in fertility rites. Her worship often involved planting ceremonies and the pouring of libations to bless the soil. The earth goddess was seen as both a giver and taker of life, reflecting the duality of nature as both nurturing and destructive. The Dardanians also revered gods of war and protection, reflecting their warrior culture. These deities were invoked before battles to ensure victory and during times of conflict to protect the community. Offerings to war gods often included weapons and the blood of animals, symbolizing the strength and sacrifice required in combat. The belief in divine protection was a source of strength for Dardanian warriors, who saw themselves as fighting with the favor of the gods. In addition to major deities, the Dardanians believed in a host of lesser spirits and entities. These included river spirits, forest guardians, and household gods who protected the home and family. These spirits were thought to inhabit specific places, and offerings were left at their dwellings to gain their favor. The presence of these spirits in everyday life highlights the Dardanians' animistic worldview and their belief in the interconnectedness of all things. Festivals played a vital role in Dardanian religious life, marking important events in the agricultural calendar and honoring the gods. These celebrations were communal affairs, bringing together people from across the kingdom to participate in rituals, feasts, and games. Festivals were held at key moments of the year, such as the spring planting season, the summer solstice, and the autumn harvest. Each festival had its own unique customs and significance. One of the most important festivals was dedicated to the fertility goddess, held in early spring to ensure a bountiful harvest. The festival involved the planting of ceremonial seeds, accompanied by prayers and songs to bless the crops. Participants wore garlands of flowers and danced around sacred trees, symbolizing the renewal of life. This celebration was a joyful occasion, filled with music, feasting, and communal bonding. Another major festival was held in honor of the sun god during the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. Fires were lit on hilltops to mimic the sun's power, and offerings were made to ensure his continued strength. The festival included athletic competitions, showcasing the physical prowess of the participants. These games were not only a form of entertainment, but also a way to honor the gods through displays of strength and skill. Winter festivals were more solemn, focusing on themes of death and renewal. These celebrations honored the cycle of life and the return of the sun after the darkest days of the year. Rituals included lighting candles and torches to symbolize the triumph of light over darkness. These festivals were a time for reflection and hope, reminding the Dardanians of the eternal cycle of nature and their place within it. Ritual practices formed the backbone of Dardanian religious life, allowing individuals and communities to connect with the divine. These rituals varied widely in their purpose and complexity, from simple offerings to elaborate ceremonies. Central to most rituals was the concept of reciprocity, wherein humans offered gifts to the gods in exchange for blessings. This could involve food, drink, incense, or the sacrifice of animals, symbolizing the community's devotion and dependence on the divine. Animal sacrifice was one of the most significant rituals performed by the Dardanians. Livestock such as sheep, goats, and cattle were offered to appease the gods or seek their favor. The act of sacrifice was accompanied by prayers, hymns, and the burning of offerings on altars. The smoke rising to the heavens was believed to carry the community's petitions to the divine realm. The remains of the sacrifice were often shared among participants, reinforcing communal bonds. Sacred symbols played an essential role in these rituals, serving as tangible representations of divine power. One common symbol was the sun disk, associated with the sun god, symbolizing life and energy. This motif was often carved into stone altars or worn as amulets for protection. The spiral, representing the cycle of life and death, was another prominent symbol, found in both religious and decorative contexts. These symbols were believed to hold spiritual power, connecting the Dardanians to their gods. Purification was a key aspect of many Dardanian rituals, ensuring the participants were spiritually clean before approaching the gods. This often involved washing in sacred springs or rivers, an act symbolizing the removal of impurities. Certain herbs and incense were also used to purify spaces and objects, preparing them for divine interaction. The emphasis on purity highlights the reverence with which the Dardanians approached their gods and the sacred rituals that honored them. Divination was an essential aspect of Dardanian spirituality, providing insight into the will of the gods and the outcomes of future events. Oracles and diviners held a respected position in society, acting as intermediaries between the mortal and divine realms. These individuals were believed to possess special gifts that allowed them to interpret signs, omens, and visions, guiding the community in times of uncertainty. One common method of divination involved interpreting natural phenomena, such as the movement of birds, the patterns of clouds, or the behavior of animals. These signs were believed to reflect the gods' intentions, and skilled diviners were trained to read and interpret them. Another popular practice was the casting of lots, using stones, bones, or other objects to determine the outcome of a question. The randomness of the results was thought to reveal divine will. Oracles often resided in sacred spaces, where they could communicate with the gods in an environment of heightened spiritual energy. These spaces were typically located near natural features like springs or caves, believed to be gateways to the divine realm. Visitors seeking guidance would present offerings and ask their questions, to which the oracle would respond with cryptic messages or symbolic actions. These responses were interpreted by the petitioner, often with the help of a priest or elder. The use of oracles and divination highlights the Dardanians' belief in a dynamic relationship with the gods. They saw the divine as actively involved in their lives, offering guidance and warnings through signs and visions. This belief in divine communication gave the Dardanians a sense of purpose and direction, reinforcing their spiritual practices and their reliance on the gods for wisdom and protection. For the Dardanians, religion was not confined to temples or specific rituals. It was an integral part of daily life. Every aspect of their existence, from farming to warfare, was imbued with spiritual significance. The gods were believed to influence all facets of life, and maintaining their favor was a constant concern. This spiritual mindset shaped the Dardanians' worldview, fostering a sense of interconnectedness between the mortal and divine realms. Household worship was a common practice, with families maintaining small altars or shrines in their homes. These altars were dedicated to household deities or ancestors, who were believed to protect the family and ensure its prosperity. Offerings of food, drink, and incense were made regularly, accompanied by prayers and blessings. These rituals served as a daily reminder of the family's reliance on divine favor and their connection to the spiritual world. Agriculture, the foundation of Dardanian society, was closely tied to religious practices. Farmers sought the blessings of fertility deities before planting and gave thanks after the harvest. Special rituals were performed to protect crops from natural disasters and ensure the community's sustenance. These agricultural rites reflected the Dardanians' deep respect for the earth and their belief in its sacredness as a source of life. Even warfare was seen as a religious endeavor, with warriors seeking the favor of war gods before battle. Weapons were often consecrated in rituals, and victory was attributed to divine intervention. Celebrations following military success included offerings and sacrifices to the gods, thanking them for their support. This integration of religion into all aspects of life underscores its importance in Dardanian culture and its role in shaping their identity as a people. Though the Dardanians eventually disappeared as a distinct people, their spiritual beliefs and practices left a lasting legacy. Elements of their religion influenced neighboring cultures, blending with the traditions of the Thracians, Illyrians, and Greeks. This cultural exchange enriched the spiritual landscape of the Balkans, creating a tapestry of beliefs that persisted for centuries. Some aspects of Dardanian spirituality were preserved in folklore and traditions, passed down through generations. Tales of gods and heroes, rituals honoring the earth, and symbols of fertility survived in the oral traditions of the region, These stories and practices serve as a testament to the enduring impact of Dardanian culture and its connection to the spiritual world. The Dardanians' reverence for nature and their belief in the interconnectedness of all things continue to resonate in modern times. Their practices offer insights into a worldview that values harmony with the earth and respect for the divine forces that govern life. This perspective is increasingly relevant in a world grappling with environmental and spiritual challenges, reminding us of the wisdom of ancient cultures. Today, the study of Dardanian spirituality provides a window into their lives and beliefs, allowing us to better understand their culture and its significance in the ancient Balkans. By exploring their rituals, symbols, and sacred spaces, we gain a deeper appreciation for their legacy and the rich spiritual heritage they left behind. This exploration not only honors the Dardanians, but also enriches our understanding of the human experience and its enduring connection to the divine.